guys? Frankie Trades here, bringing you another new weekly stock watch list. Before we get started, though, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Really appreciate it. And with that much more being said, let's go ahead and dive into the watch list. So, as far as earnings week goes for this next week, there is not much going on. It is a pretty dead week, if I'm being honest. The only active stock that I could see people potentially looking at in our stock hours community would probably be something like Nike. Besides that, there is really not much else going on. So earnings week, we are pretty set and clear on. Now, next up is talking about NQ and ES. You guys know I like to cover the indexes first before I talk about the main stocks, so we get a rough idea of where we're currently sitting at in the market. ES and NQ are pretty similar to one another right now. The bottom, and as far as the support and resistance go for both the range they are currently in. So for NQ currently, I'm looking at 24,400 as a support, and then above 25,000 for a resistance. Not much going on here. All the other time frames, there are no trend lines. There's nothing going on. It's just stuck in a range currently. So that's a good thing. That's good news for us, knowing that the market is stuck in a range. So if any stock is showing potential strength or weakness ahead of the market, then we know that those stocks can most likely provide some pretty clean moves. ES here, if I go here on the 4-hour as well, like I had just mentioned, you can see at the bottom of the range is around 6620, have room down to 6600 if we start to break down from there. And then to the upside would be anything above 6750 going to all-time highs to 6756 and post that. So it's the weekend. You guys know I don't like to chart too in-depth with my charting just because anything can happen. We saw that from, I think it was Wednesday to Thursday, that we were in a swing and there was some Russian jets sent into an area, probably to Ukraine or something like that. But, I mean, to show you that anything can happen overnight, over the weekend, anything can happen, right? So my job is just to keep things pretty simple and just observe and see where the bottom of the range is at and where the top of the range is at for where we're currently at. So next up, I'll be talking about the main stocks, of course, will be NVIDIA and Tesla. Now, as far as NVIDIA goes, the only level that I am interested on will be the 180. Now, earlier this week, if you guys were paying attention to NVIDIA or anything on the news, you could see that we had some NVIDIA said, I believe, $100 billion invested into OpenAI, and that drove it from around, I think it was stuck at around 176, 175, and drove it all the way to almost all-time highs at that 185 level, which is crazy. And that happened all in the matter of, like, I think 20 to 30 minutes, which is insane. So going into this next week, I will be looking for the retest above 180. You can see that we have tried it multiple times and we have rejected. So this is one of those setups where if we happen to get ahead of the market and show some potential strength, this is something that I'll look to take advantage of for sure. No trend lines, no nothing. It's just a retest of this 180 level. The only thing to keep in mind is that I won't be trading this or touching this at all if it's following the market or if it's behind, just due to the fact that we have been in this area multiple times before. So the only confirmation that I need is that NVIDIA is showing strength ahead of the market. Last but not least is Tesla. It's a pretty short watch list. There's really not much that I could cook with for this week. But, of course, you know, Tesla is more than enough to cook with, and so is NVIDIA. Tesla here, if I go on the 4-hour or the 1-hour time frame, you can see that we did close at 440 on Friday. Now, the beauty of Tesla and NVIDIA, and really only these two stocks that you can really take advantage of on these two the most, is the amount of liquidity and the amount of follow through that the stock can have, especially if they both have market divergence, you know, opposite from each other. But if they're both doing their own thing, separate from what the market is currently doing. So if the market's weak and either stock is showing strength, most times you can take advantage of that market divergence right there. So for Tesla, for this instance, yes, we did close at 440. Yes, you could probably trade 441, 442, depending whatever the pre-market high is, right? But for the current moment and with what we have on the chart, I am only interested at this 445 level and then 450. Now, like I had just mentioned, if there is any potential pre-market setup at around, maybe we line up with the 443 high that we made on Thursday with pre-market from tomorrow morning with Monday, maybe that's something we can do before the 445 level or even trade that going into the 445 level. But as of right now, with what the chart is showing me, I'm going to keep things simple for you guys and just keep eyes on 445 and 450. If anything changes, you guys know that within the Stock Hours community, if you are a paid member, we will give you guys all the levels during pre-market review every day at 9 a.m. Eastern, what we're currently looking at and what we're going to look at before market open. So, but yeah, that is about it for the watch list, though, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, there's not too much to cook on, but Tesla and NVIDIA are more than enough to really have on our watch list to really cook this week. So before you guys go, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. With that being said, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a good week. Peace out.